Steve Gill.
The United States of America was founded by the original insurgents. A bunch of farmers, a bunch of people, men and women dedicated and said to the British, we're not living under your tyranny. Now we've got to come back and do it again. We got tricked in 2008. But let me tell you something, we're going to take Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals and we're going to turn it on them and we're going to drive it through them and we're going to take this country back.
That's Colonel Allen West running in the 22nd District in Florida in the Palm Beach area over that Atlantic coast area, running in the West Palm area, Highland Beach, Boca Raton, Pompano Beach, down in that area. If you've been down in that area before, he is a longtime friend of the Steve Gill Show, a great American hero. And I'm telling you, he is one of those guys that I am most interested in seeing win because he's got a great future ahead, not just for himself, but for our country if we can get past this first hurdle and get him into Congress. Go to his website, AllenWestForCongress.com, to find out more. That's AllenWestFor Congress.com. You can find out more about Colonel Allen West, and he's on our Newsmakers line with us again. Alan, a lot of these Democrats, we were sharing yesterday that Earl Pomeroy in North Dakota is actually running an ad where he's touting his close connection to George Bush. With 34 days to go, you've got Democrats running away from the Democrats, denying that they're Democrats, running ads where they never mention they're a Democrat. Pomeroy's ad mentions the Republicans, touts his connections to George Bush, never mentions Obama, never mentions that he's a Democrat. Is Ron Klein running away from Obama and the Democrats too?
Well, obviously not, because one of the things that the Palm Beach Post was able to capture Ron Klein saying, in a speaking engagement, was that he needed to return to Washington, D.C. so he can continue to help the Obama liberal progressive agenda. And so on the 11th of October, we have President Obama and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi coming down to do a fundraiser for Ron Klein in the home of former Miami Heat player Alonzo Mourning. And also last Friday, we had the Congressional Black Caucus, Alcee Hastings, John Lewis, and some others state how they were going to come down here and campaign against me as well. And I found that the Congressional Black Caucus...
Wait. Have they not seen any pictures of you, Alan? I mean...
Well, I think that they're very fearful of the voice. They're very fearful of the fact that someone like me can be a counter voice to them in the Congressional Black Caucus, and definitely go against this 21st century plantation mentality of victimization and also dependency, which they continue to be the proprietors thereof. So
I mean, it's clear they're not for black folks. They're for the liberal Democratic Party agenda. They're for progressive liberalism. Skin color obviously has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but that's the same agenda that has absolutely decimated the black community, especially the inner city community. So I find it very reprehensible that they are, that afraid and that intimidated they want to come down and try to attack me. But that's okay. They'll just be part of the greater defeat. But you're right. Obviously, it is not just Klein, but it is the president and also the speaker that are very concerned about who I am and the fact that we're getting great traction, not just here in our district, but all across the country. And, it's now become not just West run against Klein, but against the liberal progressive machine. And, Alexander the Great never took the battlefield with odds better than 1 to 4. So I look forward to this and using my strategic ability to defeat them all.
When you look at the poll numbers, is Obama must be polling pretty good in the district, still have a pretty good approval rating for them to bring him there?
Well, it's not that great, and I think that's why they're taking him down into Miami and outside of the district, as a matter of fact, and not bring him into Boca Raton or West Palm Beach or Palm Beach, because his policies toward Israel are absolutely turning people against him down in the South Florida Jewish community, which comes back to the fact, the Congressional Black Caucus, half of them would not support the Cantor-Hoyer resolution, which wanted to offer support to Israel during the time of the Gaza flotilla. So, these people are just duplicitous hypocrites that want to come down here and get involved in a race where I don't think they understand the mood of the constituency. And instead of going to this highfalutin fundraiser, I think President Obama should take a ride up U.S. Highway 1 and see the results. of his failed economic policies.
When you look at the Florida politics this season, the Gulf oil spill has to be playing probably more on the other coast, certainly, than on yours, but I know it's been an issue for all Floridians. We now have a new report coming out saying, look, the ineptitude of the Obama administration with respect to that oil spill was a big cause of how bad things got. They vastly underestimated how much oil had been spilled. They were slow to react because they had underestimated the amount of oil that had been spilled. Is that playing at all in your part of Florida?
Well, I still talk to people about energy independence and developing the full spectrum of energy resources. I think that we need to, exploit the oil and natural gas resources we have here, but also we need to look at, tapping into the Gulf Stream. We need to look at the alternative means of solar and wind that we could use down here. But it's like a 21st century Manhattan project that has to occur. And once again, when you're talking about 13% unemployment in South Florida, we've got to look at how do we bring new manufacturing, new industries down here that can support our energy independence and energy development. And also being a master scuba diver, we had a scuba diving event.
Yeah, you did an underwater event.
Yeah, we did an underwater event, and I think that tickled a lot of people. And they got to see our pristine reef systems, and something that I thoroughly enjoy. So as an underwater adventurer, I don't want to see those reef systems destroyed. So everyone down here in South Florida, knows very well that I am not going to sacrifice the underwater environment here, which is part of who we are, just to have energy resources come. But I'm very concerned about China being in bed with Cuba, trying to get leases so that they can do drilling off of the coast. And then with slant drilling, you can offset 45 miles up to, I believe.
Yeah, and they're gonna take our oil because we're not going out and getting our own oil, and that's just going to fuel more growth for China. Colonel Allen West with us, AllenWest4Congress.com on the web, ALLEN West 4, spell out FOR, Congress.com. I encourage you to go, make a contribution, do what you can to help Allen. I tell you, he is, to me, the most important congressional candidate running in the entire country because it sends a message. And you talked a little bit about the Black Caucus. We could see 2, 3, maybe 4 Black conservative Republicans heading off to Congress in this election cycle. Will you guys start your own caucus, maybe the American Black Caucus or something? Because the Black Caucus has nothing to do with America, nothing to do with black voters and black people. It has everything to do with liberalism.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I would firmly suspect that they would just change the name to block us coming in. But I think that what you're seeing with Tim Scott over in South Carolina, Ryan Fraser in Colorado, Star Parker out in California, Isaac Hayes up in Chicago, is that there's a different voice out there. And I think the most important thing that we can do if we are all successful on the 2nd of November is start a leadership program whereby we are fostering and bringing up those conservative black voices. I mean, one of the most thought-provoking conservative voices in America is Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams. So we need to make sure that those type of voices are out there and they get into the black community. We got to get into our historic black colleges and universities, and we have to let them know that there is a different way that you can go, and it's not the way of being a victim, and it's not a way of being dependent upon government.
You grew up in Atlanta, obviously in the black community, the inner city community. If you talk to folks in the black community, they're conservative. I mean, they're church going, they are God fearing, they are America loving. Why have we not had a better connection on the Republican side with the black community?
Well, I think what happened, Steve, was post the Great Society programs and the civil rights legislation, voting rights legislation of the 60s, the Republicans lost their connection, their legacy. I mean, they didn't tout the fact that it was Everett Dirksen that helped a lot of the civil rights legislation get passed through. We had people like Al Gore Sr. there from Tennessee and Robert Gore, the great Grand Wizard of Klein, who stood against that. So I think that the Republicans, poo-pooed away their legacy and their history with the black community, and for whatever reason, they have not been very forthright in trying to reestablish it. I think it's been an effort, but it hasn't been a wholehearted effort, and I thank God that there are those of us that said, look, we're not going to sit around and wait for you to come to us. We're going to stand up and be this voice ourselves. So I think that you're going to see, it's not going to be a full swing turnaround. But I think if you can get an incursion into the black community where you see 20 to 25% start to break away from this.
Just chip away. It's kind of like, what was successful in Iraq. You go in and you stay. You don't go in and leave. Colonel Allen West, good friend. I encourage you to help him. AllenWestForCongress.com on the website. Go West. And Alan, we'll talk with you again soon, my friend. Good luck. 34 days to go. Hey, we're back in a moment. This is the Steve Gill Show. We got more to come. This isn't it. Stick around.